Can you be racist against Asians?
Yes.
Can you be racist against white people?
I believe that you can have prejudice against white people, but in the way that this country was built and the way that this country has been founded and the way that there are many laws that have taken place, specific like where you were talking earlier with the whole reparations debate, there are many legacies of white people in this country that...
Guys, just... Okay, let's just all take a breath. Gigi's talking.
Which I also would like, I feel like that kind of comes into... Yes, we're not all from this country. This is a country of immigrants. This is a country of people from other countries.
So let me give you an example.
Yes.
If a group of black individuals, which happens unfortunately so often, say, we want to go beat up Whitey, and they go beat up a white person, was that a racist thing that they did?
I would have to ask for further context, but yes. Based off of that,
cool.
Yes.
What's up, beautiful people of YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. My name is Elario, your host, and today I'm back with another video and check out you guys. This is called College Girl Convinced White People Hate Her for Being Black. Wow. Guys, without much ado, let's get right in and see her reason.
Who's up? Disagreements? Yes.
Disagree.
Okay. How are you?
Hi. Yes. I don't know am I supposed to say my name or just?
Want to.
Okay. My name is Gigi. I guess I'm mostly on the side of disagreeing because I feel like I don't think that behind this presidency, I don't think that this country is headed towards a bright future. I don't think that under this presidency that we are going to stand united. I think that it is going to divide us even more and that it is dividing us. And I also don't think that this presidency is built on a love of all people. I feel like whenever I hear Trump specifically talk, there are notions of not black people specifically, but people of color being seen as murderers and rapists, and it's specifically targeted towards brown people. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, my question for you is, do you think this country, or do you think that Trump is going to do the American public right in the overall of his presidency?
Yes.
Okay. Are you worried about the state of this country under his presidency when it comes to economic setbacks, when it comes to another Great Depression, when it comes to stocks going down, et cetera, et cetera? Are you worried that
No.
he is not going to do anything like that?
I don't have those concerns. And by the way, inflation's going down, and the price of eggs is going down, everybody, big time. But go ahead. I want you to thoroughly complete your argument, and then I'll say something.
Okay. I guess basically the point of my argument is I think that President Trump, and I think that this country's view, especially when we're coming now into DEI and we're coming into defunding of Department of Education, we're coming to taking the Tuskegee Airmen out of being taught.
That has been reversed, just for the record.
Okay.
Tuskegee Airmen.
But there's been multiple other things besides Tuskegee, but also the whole debate on critical race theory, teaching slavery in schools, teaching black history, et cetera, et cetera. These are things that are being targeted specifically when it took years and years to even get them in place. I think that this country is built on using the Bible, not even 100 years ago, to defame and to dehumanize black people. There has been use of the Bible specifically when people used to come into the church and talk about how slaves should obey their masters, and how that's what the whole relationship between white and black people were. I think that this country specifically has a lot of racist rhetoric that is built in that is not being targeted. I think that...
So let's try to find some common ground. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Can you give me a definition of racism?
Racism in terms of, I will say, okay, before I
You
give,
use the term,
yes,
so I want to make sure we're
that's
talking
fair.
about the same thing. Is that cool?
Yes, that's fair. I will say that I will state that I am biased because I will be speaking as a black person specifically from the United States of America, and not anywhere
nice.
else. But I will say racism is a discrimination against people of a minority that does not have a, okay, what is racism? Racism, without using the word,
Can't use the word racism.
Can't use the word. That's what I'm trying. A discrimination against a minority class of people in order to create an imbalance in the society or a hierarchy based on something that is undetermined as of color, race, the color of your skin, or maybe even color of your skin.
Can you be racist against Asians?
Yes.
Can you be racist against white people?
I believe that you can have prejudice against white people, but in the way that this country was built and the way that this country has been founded and the way that there are many laws that have taken place, specific like where you were talking earlier with the whole reparations debate, there are many legacies of white people in this country that...
Guys, just... Okay, let's just all take a breath. Gigi's talking.
Which I also would like, I feel like that kind of comes into... Yes, we're not all from this country. This is a country of immigrants. This is a country of people from other countries.
So let me give you an example.
Yes.
If a group of black individuals, which happens unfortunately so often, say, we want to go beat up whitey, and they go beat up a white person, was that a racist thing that they did?
I would have to ask for further context, but yes. Based off of that,
cool.
Yes.
So, but then let's go back to your definition. Because your definition was that it had to be the exercise of power. I'm going to make your definition better for you because the exercise of power against a minority group.
Yes.
But in that case, it wouldn't be because it would be a group of black individuals versus a white individual.
Correct.
So wouldn't a better definition of racism be a human being or institution prejudicing or stereotyping against anybody else because of their race?
I do agree that is a better there's a better definition in terms of how racism is used in society, in terms of setting people behind not having equal amounts of opportunities in these institutions, specifically colleges, jobs, et cetera, hospitals. But that is my point. I feel like in this country, we don't talk about enough, and I think that under this presidency...
Don't talk about what enough?
We don't talk about the history and the impact of long-term racism in this country against minorities.
Can I just press pause?
Yes.
That's all we've talked about the last 5 years. I mean, but hear me out. 1619 Project. We have entire black dedicated channels on Pluto and Hulu and Netflix. We have reoriented the entire national dialogue towards, we had the President of the United States, Joe Biden, take a knee for Black Lives Matter, to have racial reconciliation seminars, to have non-stop race obsession. So I think we've talked about it thoroughly and properly.
So do you think that black people in this country have equal opportunity and are treated equally as white
Absolutely.
people?
So let me prove it to you, okay? So Gigi and Charlie. What can Charlie do that Gigi can't do?
Okay, I don't know anything. I don't really know much about you. I don't know
Based on the
what
law.
you're capable of.
No, just on the law. What am I allowed to do on the law that you are not allowed to do on the law?
On paper, nothing.
That's equal opportunity.
But on paper, yes, that is true. Like, I was born under this country. I am a citizen of America. I am an American. I am a black American. I am a follower. I am a child of God. We all are. I 100% stand on that. But I think that basically what I'm trying to get at is I feel like in order for us to have these conversations and to keep having these conversations, we need to have a specific platform that we're able to meet each other on the common consciousness of this society. And I don't think we can have these conversations if we do not understand that black people specifically, because I really can't talk about Asians. I'm not Asian. I can't talk about other people of color. But black people in this country specifically have never had the opportunities to bring themselves back up. When you're talking about the destroyment of the black family, that also came with a big chunk of the Reagan administration, which was forever and whatever ago.
How is it the government's fault of why dads aren't around?
I mean, we could get into the whole, like, the rhetoric of crack babies and crack drug dealers.
So, but isn't it a decision to take drugs?
Oh, no, 100%.
So, and it's a decision to commit crimes.
Yes.
Okay, so the government didn't do that to them. People decided to take drugs.
That's true. But do you feel like these populations or these communities have, in statistics, been overly populated by police officers?
Well, so you seem like a really sweet person. So I don't want to try to be too intense. Is that cool?
Go ahead.
What percentage of America is black? 13%, right?
Yes.
What percentage of the murders in America are committed by black people?
I don't know the specific statistics.
Guess.
It's 50%.
It's 60%.
60.
So maybe when you do 60% of the killings and you're 13% of America, more cops should be around your neighborhoods.
But there's no cops there's not an equal number of cops in the white suburban neighborhoods
Because
in the
there's
same
not as
neighborhood.
much murder.
The same neighborhoods that are controlling the coke, like they have cocaine in their houses, but it's not treated the same.
And this is okay, Gigi, because it really is flushing out our different worldviews. You look at cops as if they're there to catch you and get you. We look at cops as they're there to protect and serve and help us.
And that's only because in this country, I mean, police used to be able to drag black people out in the streets and hose them down and sick dogs on them and tear them apart. And we never really had the conversation that where do we get away from that?
We definitely had the conversation.
After
George Floyd, the whole country blew up under the conversation. Okay.
Yes, but it was a big standing on, should cops be able to do this? It's almost as if when a black person is murdered by police or at the hands of the police, the gun, bullet that came from a police officer's registered gun.
On average, how many times a year would you say a black person killed by police?
I mean, at one point it was happening
Unarmed.
at least. Okay, if it was happening at least last year, it was going on about. It was at least a month that it was a major case. But in terms of the average city, I don't know the average city.
Right?
I know though, but in terms of what actually makes it to major media, because not everything.
It's the Washington Post's own database, left wing, 10 black individuals a year. So here's my contention.
Go ahead.
So you have a population that dads are not around, that is very, very murderous per population capita, that is very violent, more likely to be involved in gangs, and we, as conservatives, look at that and we say, wait a second, like the problem is within the community. The problem is not the government. The problem is not the culture. The problem is not the history. Instead, really what needs to happen is black leadership, black pastors, and black dads need to go into the black community and say, we're better than this. Cut the killing, cut the violence. Do you know the most, one more point.
Go ahead.
Who is, outside of heart disease and all that, what is the number one killer of black people in America?
I know about like diabetes, but
fellow black people. A black person is far more likely to be killed by another black person than anything else. Black people are a greater threat to their own people than any other community. So it's not like white supremacists coming into these communities and they're mowing down. It's black on black gang violence.
But that's not okay. I just like to go back to something that you said earlier about like how it has nothing to do with the government. History of black people in this country has everything to do with the government. At one point, the government allowed and pushed and raised forced slavery. That was something that this government did. They made laws in the improvement of segregation. So in terms of the long history, you can't take out the fact that government has played a major institution.
Of course, government plays a role. But let's take you, Gigi. How did government... You got to move over, man. You're blocking their view. Can you please move?
No, I'm good right here. I'm not disrupting anything.
You are. They can't see. You're blocking people. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, but Gigi, let me. Yeah. All right. So, Gigi, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
How did that legacy of slavery prevent you from getting to this school and having a great career?
I think that. Okay. I'm sorry. I got kind of distracted. Can you
That's
please
okay.
restate your
So,
question?
Gigi, what I'm trying to do right now, I'm going to give you a warning, is prove that your own life experience is actually at odds with some of the things you're saying. Is that
Yeah,
cool? So
yeah,
here you
continue.
are at the University of Tennessee, correct? You're a student.
Yes,
You have
yes.
the whole world as your oyster in front of you. You could study hard, you're going to graduate, you're going to do better than most people in probably the community you came from. Just guessing. I don't know your background, but based on how you're talking. How did the legacy of slavery get in your way?
I will say the legacy of slavery got in my way in the way that I am not a legacy child here. I would say that it got in my way in the way that my parents, my grandparents were not afforded the same, were not at one point even allowed to be on the property of this school. I think that that is one of the things that has gotten into this way.
But you're
No,
here. It didn't
no,
get in the way.
that's-
So
that-
here's the attitude I want you to adopt, Gigi, and I'll close with this. Instead of just looking at everything in the past that's wrong and bad through a victim lens, say, you
But
know what?
it's still going on. Okay,
One,
I'll let you
one sec.
I'll
Say,
let
you
you
know
speak.
what?
I'll let you speak.
I'm an American, and I'm going to use my mental energy to say, despite all of that, I get to succeed and flourish and prosper as a black American at the University of Tennessee. You are a living embodiment, Gigi, that you can still succeed as a black individual.
I would just disagree from the simple fact that I feel like there are a lot of barriers, there's a lot of obstacles, there's a lot of prejudice just in somebody might look at me and not even assume that I could
How
even
do you
get
know
into
what they're
the
thinking?
I'm not saying that I know what people I don't know what people
just
are
said
thinking.
that.
I'm saying I can assume from prejudices that I know exist in this country.
Hold on a second.
even
I
in
got to go
this day
time out.
age.
And you know what? If you walk around here and you go see, this happens all the time, and you see a white boy with the short shorts and kind of acting all, you might say, he's only there because of his parents.
I don't think so.
Oh, it happens a lot at these southern schools, right?
I mean, it happened. I mean, I was raised
So
in Michigan. so-
everybody has to overcome some form of bias, prejudice, or stereotyping. What's most helpful? Let's stop talking about it so much and talking about how we can apply ourselves to become better people and better citizens. Thank you so much, Gigi.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm not even going to lie. The title nearly gave me a heart attack. Because I was like, what actual man? But seeing the way this panned out, right? She didn't actually all out think that white people hate her for being black. She just feels like the system is unjust to them, which is literally what almost every black person that comes up to this Charlie's platform say. She quoted from the time that the country was racist and all that. I'm going to hammer on one comparison that Charlie put here. The black community make up 13% of the American populace. And according to statistics that he found, they commit 60% of the murders. And there's the complaint that they are over-policed. You see, asking the same question that Charlie asked there, if this statistics are actually true, if they are just 13% of the population and yet commit 60% of the murders, don't they deserve to have more police in those neighborhoods? I mean, if the tables were turned, if this statistic happened to fall on the white side, I feel like everyone would be gunning for this. Like, there should be more police officers, there should be this, there should be that. I'm just saying the way the arguments would have turned out if it was on the other side. But then, it's on the black side and everyone is saying it's over-policing. Even this young lady could agree that, of course, if this is a statistic, then in that area that it's happening, then, of course, more police should be there. And I feel like Charlie's comparison here was accurate on why the white and the black, on what the white and black view the police as. You know, most of the blacks view them as people, oppressors who come to, take them and throw them in cages and all that. And the whites view them as upholders of the law and authority there to protect, guide, and serve them. And there's a difference due to the mindset of, the way they think, And of course, yes, she does know that, or we do know that during the crack time, that a lot of that crack was, brought in by the shady whites then and all that. But just as Charlie said, most people had the choice on whether to do and sell crack, and they choose to. I feel like at that point, it may have been one of the most, get rich money schemes that was in vogue, and a lot of people fell for it because I admit during the racist era, it must have been quite hard to live as a black man, and I'm not even going to lie when I say that most black people, and I'm not even talking about Americans here, like generally speaking, most black people and a few other populaces often like the get rich quick scheme kind of thing. Like it just appeals to them. And that's why I feel like during the crack time, a lot of people would have fallen prey to that particular thing. And she did mention something about the Bible, quoting the verse where it said, "Slaves, obey your masters." Now, slavery was a very integral part of history, right? And at that time, almost every great nation owned slaves, right? And at the time when these laws were made, it was a time when the Israelites were already out of Egypt, where they had served as slaves. And when during their time in Egypt, it's safe to say that they were obedient to their masters then, because at that point there are repercussions if you go against the person who owns you, if I'm to use that literal term of that time. And at that point, for peace to ensure, for it to be made known that the slave, the servant, or the helper has no yardstick for disrespecting his master, it was written as one of the laws. I feel like that's just the way it played out there. And it's sick that people would use that particular verse as a yardstick to support racism and the ills of slavery now, or the ills of slavery that happened in the 60s or the 90s or thereabouts. I feel like that's just a sick way to put it. It should not be a standpoint for that particular argument. And in all, yeah, I do agree with Charlie. She's a rather sweet person. I mean, her conversation was cool. It was arranged. I didn't really see her stuttering at any point. And though, yes, one does not know everything. And for some people just pick up something without, actually knowing the full length what it means. Like the definition of racism, for example. I mean, she didn't quite agree that whites can suffer racism, but actually, racism is actually a power play on any race by another race, be you white, be you black, be Hispanic, Asian, thereabout. It's just a power play by someone in power then to another. And if it so happens that the blacks are in power and they decide to perform a certain injustice on the white because of their race, then that's racism. If it's vice versa, which was what happened in the 1614s, Jim Crow era and all that, that's also racism. If it's the Asians who are in power and they do the same thing, it's still racism. All in all, racism does not pick who gets to be in power. It just so happens that it was the whites that were in power then. But anyway, guys, please give us your 2 cents on this in the comment section, and do leave a thumbs up for us at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe.